Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. I'm going to have a bunch of little short bits of tech tips. If you've got a 120 Prado or Toyota Land Cruiser LC120 and you notice the headlights are loose, moving back and forward, what you do is you remove that screw and you replace, there's a white plastic plug that goes underneath there. No, I don't have the part number now because I did it years ago and it's probably in that video, which is why you should go and watch all the older videos. Just one piece of the million-piece jigsaw puzzle. Something else that's easily forgotten by a lot of workshops. A lot of vehicles, especially Toyotas, don't usually have leaks like power steering leaks. Here, this reservoir, you can't actually see through it. You do need to remove the lid to check the oil level, and it's pretty straightforward. You'll see the low and the full mark, the hot, cold, and all that sort of thing. If you've got a 120 or another vehicle with a tin can like that, remember to be checking that, because in particular these 120s, some of them, not all of them, some of them do develop a very slow leak. It can be at the rack, as we've demonstrated in our inspection videos. It can also be at the pump, which is down there on the bolt onto the block, and the oil can leak from the pump through the seal into the engine oil, which we're not too concerned about. The main thing is monitor the situation, make sure it's not getting too low, and the leak's only small. If it's like 5 or 10 mil every 6 or 12 months, in my opinion, not worth spending all the money to do those repairs. A quick tech tip, if you're going to ever drive in sand and sand dunes and you want a sand flag, or you get a sand flag and you go and buy a cheap eBay special, that's what I did at the last minute, 40 bucks. Obviously the soft material, it's all mushy and soft. On the other vehicle, we've got another one. You can see it's just rubbish, so beware. These are just airline fitting type sand flags. I actually don't like them. I prefer the type that's got it's like a shaft and it slips over and there's a pin goes through the middle. Anyway, something to keep in mind, waste of time. A little bit of feedback from these on these Max Pro floor mats that I got off Trevor Ryan, Dirt Road 4x4 in Werribee. Love them still. Just had them on a big outback trip. All the dust sat in there. I actually used the blower from this side and gently just push. I didn't even sweep it. I blew it out. And have I cleaned? I don't even know. Yeah, and I think I did give them a clean, as in not a vacuum or anything, but because it was all blown out, I just used my yellow cloths and gave that a bit of a clean up. Something else people have missed, particularly on the 120s and the Hiluxes, when you've got extra fuel filters or anything fitted, to make sure, because of the positioning of the fuel filter, that none of these lines are rubbing on. Right now, that's not rubbing, and it's not what I'd consider near it. It is near it, but it can't get to it, right? So that's okay. You don't want to bend the lines any more than you have to. What we do with this one is shorten it off so that it can't get over there. It's also got this, I've put the split corrugated tubing, so if it does happen to touch somehow, which it can't, but if it does, plastic on plastic's going to be much better than, because the rubber hose will rub through. And I've purposely left this here. This is how it was when they left it long, and you can see the damage, see underneath there, and it's through to the string there. Let me just get it to focus for you if we can. I don't know if that's going to work, but you get the picture, right? Okay, so don't let your fuel hoses or any hoses like that rub. You can't have anything rubbing, so check down here for hoses. Don't have any wires or hoses rubbing on a diesel engine. I'll mention it once again. This is the ARB compressor. We've just got a plastic glove over the switch because I'm not sure that that's waterproof and I want it to last a long time and be reliable. That's how we roll. Simple, reliable. It's on the K-on bracket. Somebody said, at least one person said, oh, see how that works out for you. It'll get hot up there and it'll cut out. Anyway, I just want to have you know that we had 37 degrees, hot and sunny. We worked the little baby engine on Big Red on the sand dune there. We worked it. We got it really hot under the engine bay. We went down to 12 PSI. And then up on top of Big Red in the hot sun, we used this compressor, like we have many other times, to pump the tyres up from 12 to about 28, 30, and no problem. It didn't get hot and cut out or anything like that. I'd suggest a lot more of the heat's around this side. Over there, it's almost sort of protected from the heat. I don't know where you'd find a better spot, really. So if you happen to read or see that information, I can confirm there's no issue at all whatsoever with the ARB compressor and the kaon.com.au. bracket for it, sitting there nicely behind the airbox on this 2019 1GD, and I'm sure the 1KDs and that, it's no problem either. Try and release this video this morning. It's Tuesday the 20th. Right now, last chance, last minute, if you needed to get one of your parts kits. Otherwise, please hold until the 10th of May, Monday morning, 8 AM. Just a reminder, we do recommend changing the under bonnet fuel filters. That's this one here, every 40,000 Ks. Now, Traditionally, they were always changed every 20, 30 or 40 on diesel engines. Toyota, in a lot of cases, every 40,000. On the 1KD, for whatever reason, they wiped that, and it was, you know, just rely on this pressure sensor on top here to tell you when it's blocked. That's just silly, because the efficiency of the filter is down once it becomes blocked. So I note that, you know, the 1KZs was every 40,000, the 1KDs, they didn't have a schedule, and now at least on the 1GDs, they're back to change them every 40,000 Ks. So that's about to get changed today, because it's done 40,000 Ks, almost. Okay, going to give you a little bit of puncture repair information. This is more information for people that travel outback places, outback, you know, where you may need more than one spare. You know, you're roughing it a bit. You're going across the Simpson on some line you're making up yourself. You're going to need to know how to repair tyres. This is that one that the nail, this was on Billy Goats in the high country. A tradie's nail went in at this end here, quite a big hole on an angle, and back out this side and hit the rim. The tyre was on another wheel. We repaired the tyre and have since swapped it onto this rim, and that is holding, no leaks whatsoever. Bit of R&TU. And this tyre on the rear of the other vehicle is the one that got plugged, and we demonstrated that in a video on 4x4 Touring Australia, how to plug that tyre, because you need to know how to do it if you're going to travel. The plug's in there and it's holding with no leaks whatsoever. On the inside, hard to show you at the moment. Actually, we could have probably a quick look around. We might find it just here. There it is. Is that it? Yep, that's it. There it is. Look at that. How's that for luck? Meant to be. There it is, guys. Quick tip, whatever you do when you're working on any vehicle, in particular these, and I say in particular because these are the ones we work on, don't lean on this and break this. This is the original 13-year-old radiator. It's not brittle or you know, weak or about to break, you know, but I'm not gonna, I can give that a good, you know, I could break it if I wanted to, of course, if you push hard enough, but look, I'm giving it a fair little bit of an effort there, and you know, if it breaks, I kind of want to buy a new radiator for this because it's 13 years old, but I got caught out once before. When I say caught out, I thought, oh yeah, you know, it was one of the other Prados that I had. It'd done a heap, hundreds of thousands of Ks, and I went, yeah, it's time for a new radiator, that'll help it. And I pulled the thing out, and I put the new one in, and I looked in the old one, and it was spotlessly clean like a new one, and it made absolutely zero difference to cooling whatsoever. The only thing that makes difference is cleaning out that external core. On these Toyotas with nice clean coolant, you know, that red stuff there that we always talk about, you can hard to see from this. When you keep it clean like that, the inside of the system stays clean like new, and that's what you want, okay? Can't really help a little bit of discoloring of the plastic. It's not going to stay white forever. Maybe that's what we'll replace because it looks good. But look, the radiator, of course, all conditions vary. Now, if you're up in maybe North Queensland, Northern Territory, WA, things could be different. But all the ones we see down here in Victoria, generally we don't see them going yellow and discolouring and, you know, getting brittle type thing or whatever. And this vehicle's been around there and done that sort of thing. This vehicle's done a lot of outback travel all over the place, right? Anyway, just a tip, don't waste your time replacing the radiator, but part of that BFE job, clean that external core of the, and that's not the radiator there, that's the condenser. You've got the radiator behind, right? So that's the radiator there. That's the aircon condenser. That's another story. Now, a lot of people are asking, what sealant do I use on a Snorkel? Well, have a look there. There's a Snorkel fitted to this vehicle, right, for good looks, because it doesn't turn the vehicle into a boat. But there's no sealant there, because it's just air and there's no pressure, and the clamps are going to hold it. No problem. That's never going to go anywhere, right? Talking back to those radiator hoses, here we've got up to about 120 kPa. There's water, there's pressure, it builds up. There's no, did we glue those on? Did we use silicone or sealant on those? No, we didn't. So if we don't need silicone or sealant there, we certainly don't need it on a Snorkel. It's just sucking air past there, right? And while you're at it, while we're talking about Snorkels, if you're going to fit a Snorkel, don't bloody block this up. I mean, this is what separates all your dust and dirt, right? This is what separates it all, right? So it's a one-way valve, and while we got it, we'll give it a clean up. But see that? All the crap goes out there, right? That's just because it happens to be sitting there still. If I give that a shake, whatever, right? A bit of water. See, the water goes in there as well, in the Snorkel. It's this area in here separates the dust and the water, and then it goes out there, one-way valve. There's never going to be enough water that sucks backwards in that hole, right, that fills up your air box, and if it does, you've got bigger problems, man. It's just not your air intake you need to worry about. Anyway, I'm going to go give that a quick clean out and get it back on there, and make sure you put it the right way. It's really simple. Did you see that? Let's do it again. Let's just quickly try and demonstrate one-handed, not the best. Not the best one-handed operation, but pretty simple stuff, right? It just goes bang like that, right? Make sure it's facing that way, right? You can just go like that. It's probably worth when you do your air filter maintenance, remove. Hey, we're going to do a video soon cleaning air filters. Somebody asked for it. I've been doing some R&TU. It's working out well. I'm getting the technique right, and then I'm going to show you a video. And there's a lot of precautions you need to take. But when you clean or replace your air filter, clean your MAF sensor and clean your one-way valve. And don't block the holes in the bottom. And this hole there, normally you'll see pink there on a genuine filter. That's a guide to show you how dirty the air filter is without even opening up and risking getting dirt and dust on the wrong side of the box. Saves you the hassle. Why don't we have it here? At the moment, K&N filtered, fitted, so you don't see that. So I just gave that a quick clean up, quick wash, and put it back on now. So always a video generates more questions, so I'm going to try and answer a couple in advance. So K&N filter, yep, I find it works really well. We've done a lot of R&D with that. I'm going to have to talk about it more in another video. That's why you subscribe, turn the bell on. You don't want to miss out. There's a lot of mixed information in this video. I hope you found it very helpful. Please give us the thumbs up. The other thing we see quite a lot on the 1KDs is where someone's changed the alternator and they haven't refitted. There's a clip down there. See that black clip? Right, middle of the picture down there, basically. And this is where the wiring loom goes, right? Sometimes they end up with a wiring loom. It's around here and it's rubbing on your aircon pipes. Make sure that split corrugated tubing there is not rubbing anywhere on those alloy pipes, okay? That's how it's meant to sit. That's the configuration. Go and check yours, right? I'll come back a bit, right? That's what it looks like. All right, have a good look what it looks like. It should go down the front of the compressor. Did I call that an alternator before? Anyway, you know what I mean, compressor, alternators, someone's changed the alternator, that's what I said. Anyway, that's how it all sits. Now, the other thing is, if people have had the cooling system apart, so the hose on the bottom, I call this the header tank, right? So the hose that goes down, it's got a clamp on it, right? I can't show you, it's down the bottom, it clips into the fan shroud. You may see the back of the clip inside between the fan and the fan shroud. You may not. It's kind of like right in the middle of the picture. Anyway, people just rip that out and bust it. You can't buy that clip separately. You buy that hose there. So if you think that clip's broken, then what you want to do, go to your Toyota dealer, ask for that hose. It's only about $20, $25 or something like that. Get yourself one of those on hand, and then when you hit me for the BFE kit, when you do all that whole job, that's when you'll change that hose. You don't need any other hoses here. These hoses, bloody, we see these hoses 500,000 Ks, no problem. We don't see hoses on these Toyotas fail, so you don't need to change them. Go ahead and change them if you like, but there's other things I'd spend your money on. Quick reminder, brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture, okay? It absorbs moisture or water. This stuff absorbing water then reduces the boiling point, therefore it can boil at lower temperatures, which means your brakes aren't going to work. So change your brake fluid regularly. Every 2 years is the recommendation. Toyota, I think, is every 40,000 Ks, which is normally about every 2 years, but beware, if you're not doing the kilometers, you need a good brake fluid flush every 2 years. Anyway, I think that's about it. A heap of tech tips in one. You wanted it. More information in a shorter period of time. I hope you like it. I want extra thumbs up, because if I don't get it, then I'm not going to keep doing it, right? You need to give me the thumbs up and even more thumbs up when you get what you want. Okay, now, another quick tip. Starter motor's down there behind the oil filter. If you have a problem with the starter motor on a 1KD, it's probably because it's dirt, dust, it's been in a bog hole. Mud equals money. The best way out of it is, if you haven't completely cooked it, take it to an auto elect, get them to, or you might even do it yourself, pull it apart, clean it up, check it, put it back together. It's going to be good as new. They may replace some parts, some, contacts, whatever. And it's pretty cheap to do so. Our auto elect does a good job cheap, so happy days. We like to optimum batteries, so I'm done. Bada bing, another video. That's the update for Tuesday the 20th. Last chance to get your parts kits now. I'll be back on deck by the 10th of May. Maybe earlier. Stay tuned on our Facebook pages, on our YouTube channels, so you know what's going on. I'll let you know when we're back on deck, ready to book in vehicles to the Prado Hospital and ready to supply you all those parts kits and suspension kits once again. Thanks for watching, guys. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on. I'm out of here. See ya.